The UK led the way on Sunday, recognizing a Palestinian state, followed by Canada, Australia, and Portugal.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution. That means a safe and secure Israel alongside a viable Palestinian state.
Unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state and the situation in Gaza are expected to dominate this week's UN General Assembly. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there will not be a Palestinian state in the West Bank.
At the UN, I will present the truth. This is Israel's truth, but it is the objective truth in our righteous struggle against the forces of evil and our vision for real peace, peace from strength.
Netanyahu said the recognition delivers one message.
I have a clear message to those leaders who recognize the Palestinian state after the terrible massacre of October 7th. You are giving a huge price to terrorism, and I have another message for you. It will not happen. There will be no Palestinian state west of the Jordan.
Despite the argument that the decision would sideline Hamas and bring peace, Hamas took credit for the recognition, saying it's because of their October 7th invasion and massacre of Israelis. Palestinians in Ramallah welcomed the decision and made their ultimate goal clear.
We also hope to see a complete Palestinian state from the sea to the river.
Israeli legal expert Eugene Kontorovich says supporters can say what they want, but a Palestinian state doesn't exist.
They have complete independence, autonomy. Israel's not controlling their lives. So what would a state give them that they don't have now? The ability to buy weapons on the international market and the ability to open their borders and bring in jihadis from around the world. So imagine October 7th, except this time, instead of machine guns and gliders, they have airplanes and artillery and millions of people who've come to join them on jihad from around the world.
Therefore, he says, Israel cannot allow the establishment of a Palestinian state. In Israel, there is talk of extending Israeli sovereignty over biblical Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, thereby preventing the establishment of a Palestinian state. Netanyahu says he'll deliver Israel's official response after he meets with President Trump following his UN speech. Harvard law professor and civil rights expert Alan Dershowitz has been involved in Israeli affairs for the last 4 decades as an advisor to U.S. presidents and Israeli prime ministers. He recently shared his thoughts on the post-October 7th world as it affects Western civilization and what Prime Minister Netanyahu described as the battle for truth. Here's the first of our interview segments.
Alan Dershowitz, great to be with you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
How would you describe, here we are almost 2 years into the war after October 7th, how would you describe where the West is right now?
If Hamas had to do it over again, and they knew everything that was going to happen, they would do it over again. Because they would say, all right, a lot of our terrorists have been killed, a lot of our leaders are being killed, but look at what it's done to Israel. France and England and Canada and Australia are now going to recognize a Palestinian state. The PA, Palestinian Authority, couldn't get that done. We're getting that done. It's going to strengthen the hand of Hamas. So in some respects, Hamas has won. It has been benefited by terrorism. And Israel has lost by playing by the rules, by complying with the rule of law. And it's all the fault of the international community. It's the fault of the New York Times. It's the fault of CNN. It's the fault of the United Nations. It's the fault of Harvard and my university and other universities to turning Israel into a villain for doing exactly what every other country in the world would do, fighting back against terrorists who kill their civilians.
You talked about an inflection point that the West is at. Can you expound on that? What is that?
This is a very important point in American history and in world history, because it will determine whether groups all over the world that have grievances against their countries will resort to terrorism. The clear message that's being sent by the international community is use terrorism. It works. It will get you what you want. Don't play by the rules. Don't comply with the rule of law. Don't comply with Judeo-Christian traditions. No, use terrorism. Terrorism works. Look what Hamas got. They got something that the Palestinian Authority tried to get for years and couldn't get: recognition without giving up anything. It's the greatest victory for terrorism. Terrorism works, and it only works because CNN makes it work, the New York Times makes it work, and the UN makes it work.